for having me. I'm going to start again. And Rick's been talking to me about coming to speak to you. I know I've worked across a number of mediums. Particular love is collage and drawing. I've been a life drawing teacher for 35 years. Illustration, I've worked in graphic design. So I've got a fairly broad background. So having said that, Rick said to me, talk to us about your art practice, a practical guide. And you don't need to know about mine, I thought we might talk about yours. So the first thing I've written down here is make the work. There's no point being an artist if you don't make the work. Now it sounds like that's an assumption, but a lot of people get caught up in the business of being an artist, and if they actually quantify how much work they're making, you'll be quite surprised at how little they're making. So if you want to be a professional artist, you need to be able to make the work. It's called a practice because you make work and you practice at your art. Some people call it a craft. In order to make work, you need to have good studio practice. So as well as what we call an arts practice, studio practice, they're pretty much linked. And what that means is how you use your time. And it may be that you are already committed to many other things in your life, and most people are. So you need to think about how much time. It's quantifiable, and you can say, I've only got 2 hours a week. If you've only got 2 hours a week, then make that time count. Make sure that you're mindful of that work, at that time, and that you use it appropriately, and that you sanction it, and it remains just for your art practice. Quantifying things is going to be a theme in this little chat here, that you become aware of what you're doing. So think about your use of time. Think about the space or the borrowed spaces, including Canberra Art Workshop, that you use, and whether or not they suit your purposes and they're actually serving you. Think about your energies. How much mental time, emotional time, how much time can you actually invest in your practice? But that's a subject for another day. We're not talking about studio practice, and I could give you a whole lot of tips about that. Today we're going to talk about what it is to have a practice. Rick collared me because I think he might like me to particularly answer some questions for him, and so you guys are getting a benefit of that today. And that was particularly around arts practice. So if you're consistently making work, you will eventually have a body of work. How many of you have got a big stack of artworks at home somewhere? Stacks of them, little paintings. Yeah, we all do. And occasionally you go, what am I going to do with all these artworks? So eventually you will have a body of work if you make the work. Brings us to the question, how do I get this artwork out there and seen and sold? So this is what I took the focus of today's talk to be, about what it is to then not just make the work, because that's why these workshops are here to help facilitate you making work, but what we do with it afterwards and how we use our talents to make a living, basically, or push our practice forward. A first easy step, doesn't work for everybody, but one way to think about it is to enter what we call non-selected art competitions. So a non-selected art competition is one in which you pay a fee, and after you've paid a fee, you are ensured a place in that exhibition. So there's no concern around you not being selected. A selected exhibition is one that's usually gone to a number of judges or a committee beforehand. The Archibald Prize is a classic one, if you want to think about it. So they have 1,000, 1,200 applications every year. The initial selection for that is quite fast and furious, and a board of directors and various other people select a short list. From that short list, the actual judges of the exhibition will come in, and they will then choose the finalists, and the final judgment then gives you the prize for the Archibald Prize. So the difference between a non-selected exhibition and a selected exhibition is that in a non-selected exhibition you can guarantee your work is going to be on the wall. So if you've never put your work on the wall, this is a fabulous way of getting your work out there. Now I know from the Testuma, is that how I say that word? Exhibition, that was a wonderful opportunity for people to put work up on the wall, especially if you're not used to exhibiting. I'm not sure what the status of the people in this room is or are, but I'm assuming that if you were starting from scratch, it might be helpful for you. You pay a small entry fee for those. You do need a certain amount of administration. You have to be timely in your deadline. You have to submit certain things at a certain time, deliver and pick up. Sometimes you're asked to be involved in exhibition administration and install. I would encourage you to do this. It will build up the number of in a number of areas of your practice, and I've listed them. The first one that it will help you with is confidence. Confidence in entering competitions. So these exhibitions aren't very risky. You know you're going to be in them because you've paid your money, so therefore you're going to be in them. So just becoming a habit of being able to deliver an artwork that's appropriate for an exhibition, whether it's themed or it's got a particular size or whatever. So what I've written down here in my colloquialism is learning the biz. You're learning the business of being an artist. So what it is to make sure that you meet a deadline, that you have artwork ready in good time, that you think you're putting your best artwork out there. You're not just using any old thing or rushing towards a deadline. Worst thing you can do in a competition is to make an artwork specifically for that competition. You're better off to have work being made all the time and then fit your artwork to the competition. You get experience in the business of having to work an exhibition, familiarising yourself with working to deadlines, understanding the terms and conditions of exhibiting. A lot of people assume that if they pay money, everything's going to be done for them. It's important as an artist that you take on the responsibility for your work being made, getting in the show, and being administered. You are the person that runs that. It builds your reputation if you're involved in exhibitions like this, which also helps to build your curriculum vitae. Now, I'm not sure if many of you actually keep a curriculum vitae. If you wanted to have a professional art practice, I would suggest that you have one. If you need to know how to do that, these people are great. They have little things that show you how to put a CV together. It's not your personal business CV, this is your artistic curriculum vitae. And one of the ways that you can learn about that, which is what I do because I'm dreadfully curious about what other people do, is I take the curriculum vitae in exhibitions, I take them home and I read them. And I see where they've been, what they've done, what competitions they've entered, and you learn from looking at someone else's curriculum vitae. It's a way of showing people who you are artistically. It's essential, if you want to be moving your practice forward, that you have a current and comprehensive CV. Some of you might go, I don't have anything to put on there. Every time I've spoken with people about helping them personally with their CV, there's lots of things that people have forgotten to put in, or things that they could put in that will cover them. If you really truly don't have anything to put on a CV, you can write what we call an artist statement or a statement of intent. And that means that you can say you are currently a practicing artist working in this particular area, you have so many years experience, and that your vision is this. So you can come up with a small statement which will stand in for a CV if you need to. So build this wherever you can, and one of the easiest and least confronting ways to do this is with a non-selected exhibition. So those call-outs that you see that come out, if you're wondering how do I find out about those call-outs, they're all in here. The other thing is you might like to join a couple of arts newsletters, and the ones that I recommend are the Arts ACT newsletter, which comes out I think a couple of months. So Arts ACT, that will give you local information as well as national. There's one that I have which is called Arts Hub, which just comes as an email every now and then across my desk. Interesting opportunities for artists, money for artists, residencies for artists, ways that you might be able to be involved with your artwork, workshops on how to progress your art practice. And of course NAVA have a fabulous portal for showing people what's available nationally. NAVA used to put another publication out which was called Money for Artists, very popular little publication, that one, sold very well. And it would talk about things like not just grants and how you can apply for grants, but how to find little pots of money. Perhaps how to work alongside of a philanthropic organisation, how to get things in kind, for example. Residencies are an excellent way of moving your practice forward, if you would like to think about this. I'm aware for some of you, some of these options are not a possibility. People have family commitments and financial commitments, but I'm just giving you a broad overview today. If you're choosing a non-selected exhibition, choose one which will work for you. Not all opportunities are good opportunities, and it takes a little while when you're in the arts world to figure out what's worth your while and what is not. Things to consider are, who are the judges? Who are the judges that are going to be judging your competition? What are the odds? It's like a horse race. Have I got a fair chance in this exhibition of being selected for a prize, if there's prize money attached? Mind you, there are a lot of prizes. There are a lot of prizes in Australia, and a lot of them are excellent money, by the way. Is it low?